This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by promoter Ben Shalom here in Manchester. Ben, we've just seen the main event and the undercard weigh-in ahead of a great night of boxing tomorrow night. Just start off with a top workout way down. Eubank Jr, Smith, what did you make of a pair of them on the scales?
Both look really, really good. Really good. There's been a lot of talk about Chris not coming in on weight, and he was actually lighter than Liam Smith. Really good preparation from them both. Chris Eubank Jr will be looking to prove that was a freak accident, that was a freak incident. I was just saying there, when you've made millions in your career for not necessarily fighting the best, that can only lead to a level of complacency. And when he agreed to the Liam Smith fight, I truly believe he didn't realise how good a fighter Liam Smith is. That's why Ronnie Davis, that's why myself, that's why everyone around the promotion have never seen Chris Eubank Jr approach a fight like this. Has never seen him this cold-blooded. Has never seen him this focused, because he's probably never had to be. He's always got away with it. And yeah, that's what makes this so interesting, is that he has left no stone unturned. He'll have no excuses on Saturday night. And Liam Smith, again, just ultimate professional, phenomenal shape as well, and will be supremely confident. And yeah, the promotion's just built and built and built. Amazing week from Boxer and Sky. The card is, even from 5:30, is going to be incredible, and yeah, I can't wait.
Junior said in his post-weigh-in interview, that he's going to make it a war. Do you expect it to go anything like that?
I think a lot of people believe Chris has to go back to what he's good at, and that means that that's exactly what we're going to see. Let's see if he does. Let's see. I think Liam will feel that he's good enough to cope with either. That's the thing with Liam Smith. He can do anything. He can box really well, but he loves to fight, and he'll enjoy a fight. But let's see what happens. I think it might surprise us what happens on Saturday night. It might surprise us on how both fighters approach it. It's going to be interesting, but common sense tells you that Chris has to impose himself. Chris has to turn it into a fight, not box, and then we'll see the fight that we thought we were going to see the first time.
A little bit of tomfoolery afoot up on the stage as well, with the towel being thrown firstly towards Bomac and then Bomac at you. Yeah,
look, I think, was it Paul Smith?
Couldn't see who it was.
I think, look, there's been a lot of talk about towels. It's good. I mean, they know each other well now, so the teams know each other well. Like, we've been around each other so many times. We've had press conferences galore. We've had rescheduled dates. This rivalry has gone on since the first press conference, maybe October last year, November last year. So the teams know each other. The guys still don't like each other. They still believe each of them that they're far superior. And that's what makes this such a big event.
Ben, I have to ask, obviously, it came out that it seems to be that there's no VADA testing in place for this fight. Can you tell me as to why that is the case?
Look, first of all, I spoke to Joe. The truth is, I am in a confidential contract, but the fighters have been tested multiple times and passed tests multiple times. UCAD are the authority. UCAD are the authority that can ban fighters. UCAD are the authority that don't have problems. So, as we've seen with VADA, and it's not a case, when we have the confidence from UCAD that the fighters are going to be tested, and multiple times, then what more can we do? And especially when they're the authority, I think the biggest problem, in my opinion, and not to go into what I think should be done, is all the different bodies and all the when VADA tests, we saw the problem with Conor Benn. What jurisdiction? Who's making the decision? When are we going to find out the test? We've seen it so many times. When do we find out the test? There's no uniform rules. The answer is not to create more. It's to invest more in UCAD. It's to invest more in a uniform system. I'm not saying UCAD's perfect, but when they test, they do test and they get it right. But that's where the focus should be going. It's only one sport. If we start having 45 different drug testing agencies all the time, with all different rules and all different timings of when we see results and all different jurisdictions and all different, that's going to be chaos. But we should be celebrating a night like this. Both fighters have done everything that they should do. Both fighters have been tested. Both fighters have come in on weight, and both fighters are going to a fight that is probably the most meaningful of their career.
So moving forwards though, Ben, and with any show that you put on in the UK, is it more likely than not that you don't use VADA moving forwards?
Usually it depends on the fighters and what the fighters demand. But for us, We'll obviously take case by case, but our focus, and I think boxing's focus, should be on a uniform body that can ban fighters, that can punish fighters, where the rules are clear, and that's what we want to focus on, and I think that's what boxing should focus on.
So just a final one on it. At the start of that answer, you said that it comes down to what the fighters' demands. Did one of Beefy or Junior's teams say that they weren't up for signing up for VADA for this fight?
No, but all fighters want to know is there's going to be testing, and there's been testing for the banned substances, and they've both done really well, as usual, as they're both career 15 years, I think Beefy's been in the game, and Chris as well. Let's not make this about drug testing. We've got an unbelievable event where both fighters have done everything they had to. Both fighters, the event's been promoted extremely well. They're coming on weight, everything's safe, everything's been tested. They'll be tested again, probably before the fight and after the fight as well. And yeah, we should celebrate and not look to drag it into murky waters where this event is definitely not.
Just move on to the undercard. I spoke to Natasha Jonas earlier. She said that she wants to try and get out of the back end of the year. Obviously, Michaela Meyer fighting on Saturday night on this show. She said that she'd like it to maybe be her end of November, December time. Is that possible?
It is definitely possible. It is definitely possible. I know Caroline will have a lot to say. That was the fight that she really, really wanted. But it seems, I can see why Michaela, and I really like Michaela. I think she's a great star. I can see why she probably prefers to go up her way and avoid Caroline at this stage, because Caroline is so talented, is so devastating, but ultimately, what does Michaela get out of it at this stage? So I can see that, but there's big fights at welterweight, Tasha Jonas, Lauren Price as well. Yes, of course, I can see a Maya Jonas fight happening soon.
Dave Allen and Frazer Clarke, it's always been friendly, but seems to be a little bit of needle just watching them in the face-offs. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I think when it gets close to a fight, it doesn't matter how good friends you are. I mean, we've seen that with Buatsi Aziz. It's a fight, and they're fighting for their careers, they're fighting for their families, they're fighting for everything, and they both put a lot of work in, and they want to win on Saturday night. I think they'll be friends afterwards, but when you're getting close, tensions go high, and yeah, it's a great fight. I'm glad to see Frazer in a fight that people are so interested in. I think he'll learn a lot from just the pressure and the big stage. It's the first time for his career. Dave Allen's been in this position plenty of times. That's probably the advantage he has. But Frazer needs to show that his level's above this.
Well, Ben, it's a pleasure as always. I'm going to leave you now to finish off your media duties and enjoy tomorrow night. Thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you, mate.